Hello everyone and welcome to Gentle Yoga. I'm Debbie Nolan with Henrico Recreation and Parks, and we have Anna Trong here today as well. We're going to start our practice today on our backs, and Anna has already gotten in position, and I'm going to join you there too. And first we'll work on focusing our breath. So let's all move to our back, and as you're doing that, just as a reminder, if you don't have a yoga mat, collect a beach towel or use the carpet. Yoga blocks might be helpful. You can use a thick book or another pillow if you don't have yoga blocks. And perhaps a yoga strap might be handy as well. Now, if you don't have the strap proper, you can have an old belt, an old necktie, a scarf. Scarves don't work as well, but an old sash from an old robe. So all of those work. So just picking your choice of those things to have around to assist you as props during your practice. Now, all props do is help make your arms longer or your legs shorter, or vice versa. So they just help us be able to do the pose more effectively. So now let's move all the way to our back. Bend your knees and come into a comfortable position. Now, as you bend your knees, at first, when you first lay on your back, you might want to shift a little bit side to side so that your back itself will start to relax. Go ahead and bend your knees and put the soles of your feet on the mat. Good, and then just shift a little bit so that you can feel your shoulder blades. Good, first let us just start by collecting our breath. So once you've settled, good, go ahead and allow yourself to shut your eyes or close them halfway. And then just start to breathe. Start to relax your shoulders and allow them to drop down towards the mat. And as you inhale and exhale, let your breath be a natural breath. And that just means you're not making it longer or shorter. It is whatever the length is for you right now, this moment in time. Our breath has a prescribed length, just like the waves that come to the shore from out in the ocean. And just allow yourself to have that breath flow naturally in and out. Now, if you do have allergies, feel free to breathe in through your nose and part your lips slightly. But for the most part, use your nose. Good, and as you breathe in and out, good, just allow each breath to create sensations that you start to notice. Perhaps you notice how the front of your body rises to meet the breath as we inhale. And then as you exhale, it's almost as if the body softens and starts to relax into the mat as it lets go of tension that may be in your body. So we just start to notice the places that we're holding and then allow them to relax with each exhale as well. Good, now as we start to calm with the breath, just allow yourself first to check in with the state of you right now, this moment. Maybe from the crown of your head to the tip of your toes, just notice the places that need special attention today. Maybe an area of injury, maybe an old injury. Or maybe places that just need special nurturing as you move through your practice. Have that awareness of them so that you can honor those parts of your body as we move through our postures and poses today. Good, and as the breath stays steady and you start to release some of that tension, then check in with the busy thoughts in your mind. Now, we all have those busy thoughts. Sometimes it's really difficult to calm a racing mind. But here, let the breath lead those thoughts. So perhaps as you inhale in, you honor and acknowledge one of those thoughts because they're important, but just not for your practice the next few moments. And then exhale it away. Now, all of those thoughts will be waiting in the periphery of your thought processes, and they'll try to jump in from time to time. So just allow yourself to breathe and focus on the breath as we move through today's practice. Very nice. Now as you start to feel yourself calm, just notice those subtle sensations of the breath moving through your body. Very nice. As we're here in the moment, aware of where we are and what we're feeling, let's leave outside the door those busyness activities that happened in the past or the things that will happen in the future. And let's just focus now on our practice, this moment in time. So let's slowly open our eyes. And as we do so, go ahead and open your feet a little wider than your mat. Maybe your feet are on the outside edges of the mat. Go ahead and bring your arms out like the letter T. Good. And as you do that, we're going to allow one leg to drop down towards the mat and then inhale it back up. So let's start. Doesn't matter which side, but let's use the left side. So let's exhale the knee down, just as if you're going to put your whole inside leg on the mat. So your foot rolls to the inside arch, and then inhale, flow the knee back up. Then the same thing on the other side. So we exhale the knee down, so feel a lot of lengthening through your body from your hip down to the knee itself, and flow back up. Now continue with your breath to allow the knee to flow down and flow back up. Now I don't know if you've seen this type of windshield wiper on an antique car or not, but oftentimes a lot of the older cars would have alternating windshield wipers like this. So sometimes we call this movement windshield wipers. It's a very creative name. Good. So on this one, allow the leg to remain down and tighten the muscles on your outer thigh to allow a little gentle pressure to press your knee down towards the mat, your inner thigh. Now, any pose that we use in any practice, remember, if the muscles feel grumpy, that's one thing. But if you have sharpshooting pains, never do that movement. I don't care what type of exercise you're in, whether it's yoga or some other Western exercise. Never cause harm. Good. Let's inhale that knee up and do the same thing on the opposite side. Good. Now hold that leg down. Good. And we're just waking up the muscles on the side of the body. Now, if you're a runner or a cyclist, this is an excellent stretch to use to lengthen these muscles back out from being contracted from the exercise that you really like doing, whether it's running or cycling. Good. So let's allow both knees to come up. Good. Let's bring the feet together, big toe, ankle, and knee, so everything's touching. Now, we're going to call this leg stack. So exhale and let your knees go all the way to the right and keep your legs strapped. Keep your shoulder blades on the mat. Good. And then inhale, float your knees back up. So you just kind of roll over your heels. So go to the other side, turn your head the other way. And again, we're going to move with our breath. So inhale, float your knees up. Same thing on the other side. Exhale down, look in the other direction. Good. And then inhale, float your knees up. Good. Let's flow with that again 2 more times. So we flow to the side, shoulder blades stay down. And inhale, flow back up. And then flow to the last side. And inhale, flow back up. Excellent. Now, let us bring both knees to our chest and place our hands on the kneecaps. Flex your feet. Now clasp your whole knee joint. Good. And this is called Apanasana, or wind relieving pose. So exhale, your elbows close to your body, knees in towards your chest, and then inhale, lengthen your arms, still holding onto your knees. So again, exhale, come in close, and inhale, lengthen your arms. So continue with your breath. Exhale as you come in close. And inhale, lengthening your arms. And you can see why this pose is called wind relieving pose, because it actually compresses your intestinal tract and so forth in your torso. It helps with digestion. Good. And one more like that. Good. And we draw in close and hold there. Now let us bring our arms down. Good. Tilt your tailbone up. Scoop your abdominals inward. Think Uddiyana Bandha or flying upwards. So lift your abdominals in and up. Now allow your right leg to come down, heel touch, flow back up. And the left leg to come down, heel touch, and flow back up. So continue with that. Press your lower back into the mat, keeping the middle of your body nice and strong. Pressing down and flowing up. Pressing down and flowing up. Good, one more like that, and flowing up. Now you may continue to alternate, or you might lower both legs and come back up. Good, and again, lower down and flow back up. Now on this one, we're going to lower the feet down, soles of the feet to the mat. Very, very nice. So in our next movement, you might want your strap. You can use your strap. You can use the hand on the back of the leg. You can use the hand on your calf. You can go up higher. Now, if you're using the strap, put it over the arch of your foot. Good, so bring your foot around, put the strap on. Good, now decide what part of your leg you're going to clasp. And I'm going to start with my hand behind my thigh first. Inhale here and stretch your leg up to the sky. Good, very nice. So let your hands, if you're using the strap, let your hands be close to your foot. Good, and think about straightening your knee out a bit. Good. Now the one thing you don't want to have happen when you're using the strap is don't let your shoulder blades pop up off the mat. So press them down. Good, so I have my hands on the back of my thigh. That's a great place to be. You can also hold your calf, another great place to be, or your hand can be up on your foot proper. Good, so as we're holding here, and this is one leg extended pose. Now oftentimes in yoga, many of the poses that we use are the same. The only thing that's different is the orientation of your body in the pose. So here we're on our backs, but this is the exact same pose if you were to stretch out the opposite leg that we often use in standing. One leg extended, strap over the foot, and then we would reach one arm up to the sky to hold our balance. Well, personally, I like being on my back better. So holding here. Good. Exhale and lift your nose up towards your knee and lift your other leg, either bent leg up off the floor, good, or straight leg out straight. Either one is good. Continue to breathe. Good. Now let that leg come back down to the mat, and then let your shoulders come down to the mat. Good. Take the leg that's in the air, put both straps in the hand on the same leg side as the leg that's straight. Good. Put your other arm out from the shoulder, and we're going to allow this leg to open out to the side now. Good. Now try not to roll in the direction of the foot going to the side, so super glue the body on the opposite side. Very nice. Now really reach out through your heel, and these are heron, H-E-R-O-N, like the long-legged bird in ponds. Excellent. Now come back up to the sky. Now switch hands. If you're using your hand, put it on the outside of your ankle. Other hand comes down to the mat. Good, and come across your body. Now your hip on the right side will come up off the mat about an inch or so, but no further. Very nice. Once again, another really good stretch for runners or cyclists. Good, your bent knee continues to point straight up towards the sky. Good, very nice. Now come back to the center, bend your knee, and cross that foot on top of your opposite knee. So once you've crossed the leg, arms are out from the shoulder, you can take your strap off just like Anna did. Good, now we're going to keep the leg crossed, ankle super glued to the left leg. We're going to allow our hips to go to the right side. So when you go to the side, you let the left leg just turn inward like we did with windshield wipers. Good, and we pause right there. Now, if your knee doesn't go down towards the mat all the way, it's okay for it to be above the floor. You can put your towel underneath, and you can also put a block underneath. Good. So a very big opening in the hip. You can look away from the bent knees. So in this case, you'd look towards the left. Good, so the weight on your foot there deepens the opening on the left leg. Many of the poses in yoga incorporate all different forms of movement. So here we have rotational movement mixed in as well. Very nice. So let's inhale, float the knees up again, stay crossed. And then exhale, allow the knees to go to the opposite side. Good, so now your left leg will rest on the mat and your right foot will be on the mat. Look to the other side. Good, so notice how that felt different from hip to hip. Each side of the body feels just a little bit different. Remembering that you have a strong side, your dominant side, and you also have that flexible side. So usually you can tell right away which side they are. And remember, the whole purpose, besides being connection with your breath, mind, and body connected, is creating that opening and awareness of your body and how you move through space. Yoga just really helps us be more aware of our surroundings and how we move through space and through time and throughout our day. Very nice. Now, think about taking your left hand and hold that right ankle. Slide the foot up a little closer to your hip, depending on what your knee allows you to do or where you're at. Your foot may not be on the floor like ours is. You can put it on a block. No worries. Good. Now you can also, after a moment or two, take your right hand and hold the other foot as well. That's all in what you can reach. So if it's not accessible to you, you just reach down in that direction. This is called twisted root, R-O-O-T, not Groot. Good. And just pausing here. Now notice where you may have tightened up more. Good, so relax in those areas. And again, just keep the breath flowing in a steady rhythm. Just think about the waves coming in and out from the sea. This time of the year, most of us would like to have a beach holiday, so maybe that's your happy place. Very, very, very nice. Good, now big inhale, and when we exhale, just soften into the pose, release as much as possible at this point for you. Very nice. Now releasing the ankle, go ahead and take that leg, and that's your right leg, and lay it on top of the left leg. And we're going to turn on to our side, towards your knees. Good. Now as we pause right here, you can use your bottom arm for a pillow. Good. You can cup your head or you can have it resting on the mat, whichever one works better for you. Good. And then just pause here for a moment. Good. As we transition, now notice if you feel a little unbalanced in the body. Good. And then help yourself up by using that top arm. Good. And we're going to change directions. So as we change directions, make sure you're on the opposite side. So I'm just going to turn my feet towards Anna, and she's going to turn her feet towards the front of the room. Good, so have your strap around if you used strap a moment ago. Good, and we're going to come to our back again. Oh my goodness. So we flow to our back. Good, we won't be here long, so don't worry. Good, as we inhale here and exhale. Good, let's bring our knees up again for wind relieving pose. So just exhale, draw the knees into your chest. And then release them out. Draw your knees into your chest. And release them out. Good, one more time. In, good. Now make sure that as you put your feet down, that we go to the left side of our body. So let's bring the left leg up and hand on the back of the leg or strap on the foot. Any of those are good. So you just have to decide, do you want my hands on the back of the thigh? If I have a strap, do I want the strap on my foot? Good. Or do I want my hands on the calf? So pick your spot and just pause right there. So one leg extended pose. Again, imagine how this would feel different to you if you were on one foot and balancing. Very nice. Good, now allow your shoulders to just relax down into the mat. Maybe you feel the back of that extended leg lengthen. Excellent. Now bend the knee and just allow the leg to cross on top. Good, so we pause here for a moment. Good, flex your foot, make sure your ankle is super glued. And now we're going to allow our knees to come to the mat. So first go to the left side. Good, pause right there. Good, turn your head, opposite direction, away from the knees. Now here you're anchored by your shoulder blades. So think of having that connection through the earth, through your shoulder blades. And then just start noticing how this pose feels different on this side of the body. Good, and then notice if you feel the body start to relax a little bit. Very nice. Now let's inhale, float our knees up again. And now exhale, go the opposite way. And again, keep the shoulder blades in contact. Remember, if your foot doesn't contact the floor, your foot can be on your block, on a pillow. All of those are good. And first, just start with the legs crossed. Good. Remember, anytime in a yoga pose, if you move into it and it doesn't feel right, just stop and reposition and go back into the pose again. Now, after you're here a moment or so, you may find that you can reach down with your right hand, hold that left ankle. Good, and then look in the opposite direction. So then pause there for a few moments. Good, and then you might want to either put your hand on your rib cage on the left or reach in the direction of your foot, or if you can hold your foot, hold your foot. Think of it as twisted roots, the roots of the tree. One way it helps bring your foot closer to your hand is to walk the knee back a little bit and bring the knee, bend the knee a bit more to bring the foot closer to your bottom. Now, it still might not be in reaching distance, but that's okay. Remember, it's not essential to make contact to get the same benefit in the pose. Good. Now, I don't know about you, but this side of my body was much more relaxed into the pose. And that's because this is my flexible side as opposed to the dominant side. So we tend to gravitate to what is the body is most accessible to. So in this case, we tend to hold this side longer. Well, let's not. So let's go ahead and release the ankles. Good, and allow the leg to come on top of the other leg, stacking those legs again. And then just bring your shoulder around and pause again for a moment on your side, all curled up just like you're in your bed at home as we transition to our next pose. Good. Now, after a breath or so, let's go ahead and use that top hand and help us up to seated position. Good. So as we come to seated position, good, we're going to come face down on our mats. So I'm going to face Anna, and she is going to go the opposite way so you can see two different views of the same pose. Good. Now, we are coming into Sphinx pose today. In Sphinx pose, we bring our elbows right under our shoulders. So we move them forward more towards the front of the mat. Good. Keep moving. Keep moving. There we go. Perfect. So Sphinx pose, palms come down, and shut your eyes for a moment and just see the Sphinx at the base of the pyramid. That's exactly the same position as your body. Good. Now, first thing to notice is just to notice how much flexibility or how much movement you actually have in your shoulders. Good. So first thing, allow your chin to come to your chest, and then allow your body to relax down in between the tops of your shoulders. Good. Now, arms are extended forward, middle finger lined up with your thumb. Excellent. Now, as we hold right here, you feel the opening in the back. And now think about reaching out with your toes and pressing the tops of your feet into the mat. And that's where your shoelaces would lace on top of your foot. So press that part of your foot down. Pull your tailbone down into the mat. And notice that tips the top of your pelvis up. Now start to continue to breathe and lift up from that lift from your pelvis. Push into the mat with your arms. Start to peel your forehead up and then just glance out in the distance in front of you. Now you're pushing down into the mat with the legs and with the arms. Relax the muscles in your seat. Good. We tend to squeeze those muscles. Here, all of the activity is in the front of the body. We're pushing down, we're elevating up. Good, and don't forget to draw your abdominals inward and upward and create space. Good, so you're lifting your torso in and up and out. The Sphinx at the base of the pyramid. Boy, he could probably tell us some stories. Boy, very nice, very, very nice. So let's release down from this pose. So this is one of those subtle poses that looks like nothing much is happening, when in reality there's quite a bit going on. Good, so again, press down with your feet, pull your tailbone down to the mat, and then start to elevate up through your body, pushing in through the mat. Good, and lifting your elbows perhaps ever so slightly. Good, and so remember that's an option. You don't have to. Relax the muscles in the back of your body. Good. Steady breath. Excellent, and then flow down. Good, so slide the hands back. So now the middle finger is lined up with the top of your shoulder. So you can glance and see. Good, and the elbows are close to your rib cage. So think about that. Elbows being out here, no, we're not going to work for you. So bring them in close. Roll your shoulders up towards the ceiling and back and down. Good, now in this pose, this is called serpent or baby cobra. So just think about it as being low in nature. Snakes are low to the ground. They can't come up very high off the ground. So here, inhale and peel your forehead up again. Push your feet into the mat, and then just elevate slightly up off the mat. Now, once again, don't squeeze the seat muscles in back. That's gluteus maximus, the biggest muscles in our body because they help move us through space. Relax them. Good. And as you breathe, just kind of glance down a little bit, but not too far out in the future. Good. And then lower back down. Now we're going to use that same body position again, but when we lift up this time, we're going to keep our hands in contact with our body. So the hands are going to lift up off the floor with our body. So roll the shoulders back and down. Good. Press down the legs. Inhale here and start to float up and just float the hands up with you as well. Good. You're using the muscles in the spine that help hold the vertebrae in place. They're called the iliopsoas muscles. Good. Breathing here. Don't hold your breath. Good. And float all the way back down. Very nice. Very, very nice. And then the last variation, and you can do any of them that we've done, Sphinx, serpent, the hands lifted, or you can slide your hands back just a little bit more. Float your shoulders up and down. Then press the feet down and start to elevate up, and you may lift up a little higher, but your elbows are still bent. Good. Now the pictures that you see of people with long arms in Cobra usually are people who have been doing yoga for quite some time. Having long arms does not change the benefit of the pose as versus having bent arms. Good. And lower back down. Very, very nice. Now with your fingertips spread wide, we're going to press up to hands and knees. So press up to hands and knees. Good. Now first open your knees nice and wide as your mat. Sit back first. Now here's a little yoga trick. If you have a block and you want to sit on the block, you can do that. Good. So for me, I'm going to sit on the block. Good. Press all the way back, slip the hands forward, let your torso come to the mat. Good. Resting pose or child's pose, but the legs wide version. The legs wide version just allows us to bring our torso a little closer to the mat. Excellent. Very, very, very nice. Now, look at your hands, and then float your hands back under your shoulders. And draw your knees back in. If you used a block to sit on, just move that. Good. Go away, block. Excellent. So we're on hands and knees now. Good. Now, make sure that your knees are hip distance apart. So directly under your hips, straight down. Good. Hands right under your shoulders. Good. Now this is spinal balance that we're going to work on now. And so float your shoulders back and down, lift the front of your body into your spine, and notice your tailbone drops down when you do that. Let's step our left foot back and touch the toe to the mat. Now when you do that, take care that your hip doesn't lift up. Good. Now before we do anything, lift your right arm forward next to your ear, draw your shoulder blade back, and then on a big inhale, lift that left leg up. Good. Excellent. Reach out through your heel. And again, spinal balance. Good. Now, if you feel wobbly in this pose, your knee that's supporting might be right under your body. So you might need to shift the knee out to the side a bit. Good. Let's bring the hand down. Good. Bend the back knee and press the foot up towards the sky. Good. Pause right there. Now lift the right arm out to the side again and have it bent, like half of a goalpost. When we change the length of our arm or leg, it affects our balance. Challenges us. Good. Hand down, knee down. Good. Now push into the mat with your hands round your back like a cat. Look at your knees. Make a dome out of your back. Good. And then inhale, pull your torso forward. Good. Think figurehead on a ship. Very nice. One more time. Round your back like a cat. Good. And then come into figurehead. Pull your torso forward. Excellent. Now come to neutral. That's just halfway in between. Very nice. Now step back, right foot, anchor your toe. Again, make sure your supporting knee is not in the middle, underneath your body. Let's reach out your left arm. Good. Draw the shoulder blade back, and then float the leg up. Good. Really reach out through your heel. Find length. Inhaling, exhaling. Look down a little bit, or look at your thumb, or look towards the front of your mat, or out in the distance. Good. Float your hand down. Keep the leg up. Bend the knee. Now lift the knee up a bit, and then lift your left arm out like half of a goalpost. Good. Breathing in and breathing out. Excellent. Very, very, very nice. Hand comes down and knee comes down. Very nice. Now press your hips to the left and look at your right little toe. Beautiful. Come to the other side. Very, very nice. Now come center. Good, and let's have a seat. Good, and as we come to seated position, good, make any wardrobe adjustments you need at this point. Good, and as we're in position, good. Let us bring the soles of our feet together. Good. And here think butterfly. We call this butterfly. Now the pose itself is actually called bound angle pose or Baddha Konasana. Now oftentimes people reach down and they hold their feet. It's really better to hold your ankles. Why, you say? Because when we hold our feet, we can tend to lift our feet up, which makes our ankle tilt up this way. So we're putting side pressure on the ankle. You know, so here, just hold. If you do hold your feet, just don't pull your toes up. Good. That way you're not lengthening the ligaments on the sides of your ankles, which are prone to rolling anyway. So here, strengthen the ankles and the muscles in your ankles instead. So let's press our elbows in our inner, follow the flow of your lower leg. Good, and then press down. Oh my goodness. Take a big inhale, look up first, and then exhale, look at your big toes and press down with your elbows. So here, this is an assisted opening in your butterfly or bound angle pose. Now this pose gets its name because the cobblers are people that make shoes or repair shoes. And in India, they used to hold the shoe they were working on in between their feet so that it freed up their hands to sew or repair or construct shoes. And so that's why the feet go together like this, toes touching. Excellent. Very nice. So let's let up with the elbows. Good. And here, reach the arms out to the side, breathe up to the sky, and then flow forward. Press your inner thighs down and place your hands on both sides of your feet this time. Now really lift your heart up. Lift up, 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 up. And now pull your legs down with the outside muscles. So pull the legs down. Oh, goodness, big difference. So imagine a cat being stealthy, sneaking up on something in the yard. So take a big inhale, and then exhale, kind of move forward a bit stealthily. Find your stopping point. Good, pause here. And then after a moment, you may do the same thing again. Take another breath, and then flow forward a bit more. Good, and then when you find your stopping point, relax your head down like you're going to put your head on your feet. Good, and just breathe. Now your arms are still active, meaning you haven't relaxed them. They're still reaching, so you should feel a lot of lengthening down both sides of your body along the rib cage in the back. Very nice. Now slide your hands back and then just flow back upright. Very, very, very nice. Now, one thing that we don't do very often is pay a lot of attention to our feet, okay? When you get in yoga class, people start right away looking at their feet because that sometimes is the closest their feet are to being able to see them closely. You know, it's just human nature too. So here, a few things to wake up our feet. So the first thing we're going to do is lift up our left foot, slide our right leg in bent a little bit, and just rest that foot on the opposite knee. Now, think about your foot. Think about your hand. So you're going to slide your little finger in between, next finger in between, next finger in between, same thing again, and then your thumb is going to hug the big toe. Good. So are we there? Your toes might not want to do this. So think about your feet. Your feet travel through life with you every day. What is the number one thing that bothers people besides their back? It's their feet. Good. So here, this is a little foot and toe yoga. So hold your ankle, lift your foot up. Good. And lay it back down gently. Good. Now, move your foot back and forth in a circle. Good. Keep squeezing your toes. Now you're adding blood flow. By the squeezing, creates the blood flow. Starts to wake the toes up. Now go the other way. Good. One way is not going to feel natural. Here's a piece of trivia for you. We have 3 ligaments on the inside of our ankle. 4 ligaments on the inside of our ankle. On the outside of our ankle, we have 3. That is why when we turn our ankle, we don't turn it to the inside. It always rolls to the outside. Good. So pause. Not as much protection there. Now hold your foot Take your other hand, squeeze and hold all of those toes together. Now squeeze. Now your toes are not going to like this, but it's okay. Good. They should feel very tingly. Oh, yes. Very nice. And then release your hand. Good. And so that's the first toe yoga. Release your hands. Good. Now, come to the other foot. Same thing, other side. So the hardest part of this one is getting your fingers in between your toes. So little finger. Good. Next. Next. I wish I had known these things when I was a lot younger. I did a lot of running that messed with my feet. Good. So first you start right here. Good. Slip your leg over a little bit. You can also hold this foot up. So you can do that either way you like. I just have mine resting here today. So the first thing is you notice right away your toes just don't like this. Good. So first just a little circle. Good. And a reverse the other way. Oh, yeah. And then pause. Good. Reach down, other hand. Now clasp all your fingers and toes, and then just squeeze. And like I said, they're just not going to like it at first. But the more you do this, the more it releases your toes and relaxes them. And I know you've had it happen to you where one toe cramps and lifts up. This is what you have to do more regularly to have that go away. Good. Very nice. And then release. Probably one foot was more okay with it than the other, right? Good. So we release our fingers. Good. Now let's bring the soles of our feet together again, but allow them to open. So it's like you've turned the inside of your foot up like you're reading a book, okay? So put your fingers on the shoelace side. Put your thumb. You're going to start right in front of your heel first and just rub your thumb down the inside of your foot. Now then come back up and just circle your thumbs around. If you're thinking it's foot massage, yes it is. It's foot yoga now, foot and toe yoga. So just in that arch area, first just circle around and round and then change the directions just like we do in the other poses that we do. Always go in the other direction. Then come and separate your big toe. Just lift your toes up. Separate your big toe. Good. You can use both hands. Good. And same thing on each toe. So you want to wiggle each toe, squeeze each toe, circle it side to side. Wake them up. Get the ball of your foot. Good. And then switch to your other foot. So start with rubbing the thumbs down, both of them again, because it feels good to do them both at the same time. Good, and then the little circles start. Now you can actually use both hands on the same foot at the same time. Good, so just like we did a moment ago, you can come in right up into the ball of the foot. Good, move around, wiggle each toe. Good, don't be afraid to squeeze those toes. They like it. They just don't like being squeezed together tightly. Good. So anytime you wear a really pair of tight shoes or you've walked around a lot, this is always a good thing to do. Good, and then when you finish, just bring both feet together, squeeze all 10 toes together. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze in the palms, or the palms of your feet, the soles of your feet touching. Yes, and then just use your fingers and just lightly stroke over the top of your feet and the ankles and the sides. Good. Very nice. Now that our feet are relaxed, I think we're ready for Shavasana. What do you think? Good. So let us stretch our feet out. Good. And go ahead and flow to your back. Good. And as you flow to your back, good, go ahead and bend your knees. Good. And draw your knees to your chest. Just give yourself a really, really, really big hug. A little circle side to side, a little circle the other way. Very nice. Feet come to the mat. Good, and let's just let our knees go to the right side for a moment. Pause there. Just a little gentle movement. Good, and then a little pause to the other direction. Flow the other way. Very nice. And then come to the center. Good. Now you can keep your knees bent or you can stretch them out all the way. Let's take a moment and a little active relaxation twice. So we'll inhale in and tighten every muscle in our body. And then when we exhale, we'll just kind of go limp. And we'll do that twice. So here we go. Inhale in, start to tighten, tighten, tighten. Make a face, make a fist, clench your jaw. You might lift up off the mat. And exhale, go limp. Whew. And again, start to tighten, tighten, tighten. Make a face, make a fist, clench your jaw. Really reach out and exhale, go limp. Very nice. Now pause here for a moment. Good. Now the mind's still quiet. Notice if you want to keep your legs extended, and if you do, just open them wider and allow them to kind of flop to the sides. Your arms can be out, but turn your inside arm up towards the sky. You can also put your hands on your rib cage and just follow the flow of your breath. So any of those arm positions. Remember, your knees can be bent, feet apart, or your feet can be in butterfly. All of those are good. So just pick the one that speaks to you today. Good, and for the next few moments, keeping your eyes shut, allow yourself to start to move more deeply into release. Let each exhale feel as if you're starting to become lighter and float weightlessly. Now, keeping those eyes shut, if I were to be in a different position when you peaked, just stay where you are and shut your eyes again. So as you're inhaling and exhaling, just, again, as I said, allow yourself to start to feel as if you're starting to float. Float in, float out, and allow yourself to just be in this moment. Because once this moment passes, it never returns. Your attitude. Your attitude shapes your world. When you intimidate others, you live in a fearful world. When you are sad, you bring out the hopelessness in others. When you express support, you live in each other's affection. When you act as a child, you evoke a parental attitude. When you act like a parent, you inspire both rebellion and hopelessness. When you are dependent, you invite others to take advantage of you. They resent you for smothering them as well. When you act controlling, you lead people to use you. They think you have it coming for treating them unfairly. When you act competitively, others want to beat you for putting them down. Your attitude creates obstacles that you have to overcome, and all your lucky breaks. No one wants to help a braggart, and everyone wants to repay that person who does make them feel or be good. The person who makes you feel good is free, has no need to control or own you, can admire your achievements without envy, and can be giving without expecting anything in return. Your pattern of choices becomes your attitude. When you choose to hold in feelings, you become bitter. When you're expressive and share, you become free. Being free is letting others be free. In this world, you give what you get. Your attitude changes that, and then you get what you give. Because I'm free to be myself, I allow others to be free. And I can see the world as it is. Now, still keeping your eyes shut, just turn to your right side, traditionally the heart side of the body, and use your bottom arm for a pillow, and just pause there for a moment as we transition. While you're there, take a moment and send a positive thought out to the very first person who pops into mind. You thought of that person first because they need that positive energy from you. And then, still keeping your eyes shut if possible, help yourself back up to seated position so we can seal today's practice. Good, you can place the backs of your hands on your knees, or you can bring your hands to heart center, whichever you like. The light within you is reflected by the light from within me. We come together, and by sharing that light, we magnify it and reflect the goodness in life. We come together, we share community, and we share our yoga. Thank you for letting me lead your practice this afternoon. Namaste.